I'm a 28-year-old woman and every boyfriend I've had for the past 9 years has died. I feel cursed and don't know how to, or if I can ever, move on. Obviously this needs a bit of backstory and it's a long one, so from the start and with fake names, although anyone who knows me or any of my partners in reality will be able to trace it back. The first partner I had was when I was 18 years old and fresh out of high school, and his name was James. It was a casual relationship in the sense that both of us were just enjoying that transient stage of life where you travel, work a bunch of random jobs, meet new people and let go of old ones. But it was a serious relationship in terms of the way we felt about each other. We adored each other and never really got sick of each other. Neither of us had any future plans, but we just didn't care because we felt like we could tackle anything together, and both of us were independent spirits in a way too. Unfortunately, a year and a half into our relationship, James was in a car accident, not his driving, that caused it, and didn't make it. That was an awful time in my life that broke me apart, but with support from friends and family as well as James' family, I managed to continue moving forwards in life. A couple of years later, and I'm 21, I meet Hamish. He knew pretty early on what I had been through and was an absolute gem about everything. He was in his late 20s and had kind of secured his place in the world already, and in a way he kind of anchored me, something I didn't know how much I needed and wanted till it did. We made a partnership, and after about 8 months together I moved in with him. He had his own house and a steady job already, and I had just started my degree, so I played homemaker a lot of the time, did contribute with a part-time job too, and things really fell into place naturally. I had finally began to trust that I could be happy again when I got a call from his worksite that he had been injured at work and was en route to hospital. Unfortunately, he sustained a serious head injury and didn't regain consciousness. His family, who I had only met a couple of times, pulled him off life support a week later, and that was that. I fell into a much deeper depressive hole this time round. It didn't help that I also lost the home I had with him, since we were not married at his time of death, so in a blur of grief and depression I was also packing boxes and had to move back in with family because I couldn't afford a rental on my own. I dropped out of college and tried to figure out some semblance of normal. Again, at 24, about 10 months after Hamish's passing, I meet Adam at a community event. We hit it off, but I was definitely not looking for a partner at that point in time, so we were friends for a few months and spent a lot of time doing activities together, volunteering together, and just being in each other's company. He introduced me to his wide circle of friends, which really helped me out because after Hamish passed, a lot of my old ones had not stuck around. Adam and I reached boiling point on a group camping trip and ended up sharing a tent and confessing feelings. He understood my hesitation to take things further and basically said he could be whatever I needed him to be at that point in time. As time goes on, we go on more dates and get more intimate, and I eventually realize we are well and truly in a relationship. I struggled a lot with waiting for the other shoe to drop, and just as I was letting go of that feeling, the worst happened and Adam was killed very suddenly. At this point I basically had a nervous breakdown and did spend some time in an inpatient facility because of my inability to cope with the situation at hand. I didn't know how it was all happening again. Fast forward 2 years to 27. I graduated my degree after many years of part-time study. I'm living independently, finally. I'm going to therapy regularly. I'm trying to live life just one day at a time. I am not looking for any kind of relationship, because frankly I am too petrified to. I have a small but close group of friends who have supported me through the worst and the best times in my life, and I them. And after landing a graduate position in my field, I meet Joel. A sweet, kind, funny, adoring 39-year-old. Everything you could want in a partner. We'd both go back and forth for a while, but about 6 months after meeting we begin dating. And about 6 months after we start dating, he gets diagnosed with stage 3 colorectal cancer. As you already know from the title of my post, unfortunately his treatment plan failed and I lost Joel only a little over a year after meeting him. I am not generally a superstitious person, but at this point I feel as though there is a curse on me, that I am undateable. I can't imagine ever wanting to date another man again, because what if by doing so I am condemning him to death? When I expressed those fears to Joel, he understood it, and it was one reason why it took some time for us to be together. And then look what happened. I still receive therapy regularly, but therapy only goes so far, and I feel like I need some true advice. The other main thing I struggle with is the way people in my town look at me. It is a mid-sized regional city. Some people were at all 4 funerals to give you some idea of the size of the town, even though none of my late partners knew each other. Everyone knows of everyone here, and people stare at me as though I'm poisonous, or guilty of something. I wonder all the time about whether I should leave town and move somewhere fresh. I know that doesn't solve all my problems, but I feel like at least the people wouldn't have preconceived notions of me, and should I ever date again, that men won't recoil from me. I feel totally lost, and I am not sure how my 20s has been stolen by so much grief and heartache, and how I became a magnet for death. I feel about 40 years older than any other 28-year-old. Edit. I never expected this post to get this many responses. The comments along with messages in my DMs has left me incredibly overwhelmed and thankful. I didn't know what to expect when I posted this, but some of the words people have offered to me will echo in my head moving forwards in the best way possible. I'm going to do my best today to reply to all the comments that helped me. I know many people accused me of faking this post, and if you want to think that, then I guess that's your prerogative, but to clear up a few of the reasons why people think it is a lie, I didn't go into detail about Adam's passing because there are still some ongoing legal aspects surrounding it, and because I am identifiable to some people, I didn't want to risk posting anything that could interfere with that process until it is over. A lot of people seem to be up in arms about the name Hamish, forgetting that it's not his real name. He was not foreign, not that it would matter if he was. I don't live in a city, it's just not the smallest town in the world, and I was trying to give an indicator as to the size. When I talk about where I'm from, I use the word town, or I say going into town. It's also not a college town. I did my degree online. I have seen northern exposure, and I told my best friend that if my number 5 got hit with a satellite dish, that's the point where I would probably call it quits on life. Edit 2. As I just scrolled down to sift through and respond, I realized the whole thread has been locked, so I can't reply to comments directly. I'll just mention now those whose words had a deep impact on me and who have helped guide me and make things a little clearer in my mess of a head. Redditors' reactions. Redditor 1. I just want to say that I am so sorry for what must be unimaginable repeated traumas that you have been enduring. I know you may feel as if this is a curse that has been placed upon you, but I hope that you understand, or at least one day understand, that none of this is your fault in any way, and you have absolutely nothing to do with any of these deaths. You are so young still. I do think you have every reason and right in the world to move somewhere if you believe that would benefit you, and it may. Just know that anyone judging you or questioning you doesn't know the truth, and that truth is your truth, and your truth to hold and keep. Surround yourself with a community who believes and trusts you and supports you. If you think that grief counseling and a grief support group may benefit you, I would certainly suggest it, if you haven't tried accessing those already. None of this grief and these losses are a reflection of you in any way. You are not condemning anyone to death simply by dating them. While your circumstances may be rare, they are not impossible, and you have been dealt a very poor hand in life through no fault of your own. I wish I had better advice to give. I just want you to know that in no way are you a cursed object. You are a human being who is valuable, loved, intelligent, kind, and giving, and a person, not an object. You matter. Redditor follow-up. I also feel like OP would benefit from a fresh start, like they said in the original post. Somewhere where no one knows you, get on your feet, find a new job and do life. I know it would be taking herself away from her support system and family and friends, but it would be a chance to start new activities and create a different social group. Redditor 2. I want to reframe this for you. You are so wonderful and deserving of love that you found some wonderful men who have chosen you despite the heartbreak. They've been patient and kind by your account here. What has happened to you has been the most horrific random coincidence on the face of the planet. You should do what you need to for your mental health and only date again if you're ready. I know you feel like you're cursed, but none of this is your fault. Redditor follow-up. And really, even though intuitively this seems impossible and like a curse, mathematically, there are probably 1,000 people who lose their partner once for each one person who lose 2 consecutive partners, of which 0.1% lose 3 partners, of which again 0.1% is op. She just won the lottery in bad luck, but that doesn't mean it is going to happen a 5th time any more than any other person would lose their partner at random. Op had the toughest life in this whole situation. Most people witness their own death and at maximum one partner's death. I would still choose her position over being one of the deceased, but it is a hell of a lot harder, even though it is hard to accept that when you are the survivor. Redditor 3, maybe you aren't cursed. Maybe you're actually a gift to them, a chance for them to be blissfully happy before the inevitable happens, because those things would have happened to them whether they knew you or not. Maybe you gave them the best, happiest few months of their lives so that they had that to think of at the end rather than nothing. You could be the best thing to have happened to them, right when they needed it, and you are strong enough to be that one for them. Edit a quick edit to thank everyone for the comments and awards. This is a new experience for me, and I don't want to ruin the above sentiment by saying any more than op. I think they'd thank you for taking the chance on them when you did and giving them that slice of time with you. Edit 2. Seriously guys, your comments have got me all emotional. The world can always use more kind words, and I think we are doing a pretty damn good job of it right now. Op, this is because of you, you know that, right? You made something wonderful happen today. Redditor follow-up. I lost a partner to suicide 7 years ago. His funeral was a blur, but I remember his father holding me and crying into my hair. Thank you for keeping my boy alive. Thank you for saving my boy. At his own son's funeral, all this man was thinking was, this was coming sooner or later, so thank you for making it later. That loss devastated me. I lost the person I had loved the most, have ever loved the most, and probably ever will, and his father was thanking me for delaying the inevitable. For some reason, I needed to hear him say that, to frame it that way, to truly believe that not only was I not at fault, but was being recognized for having done the best I could. This comment brought that all back for me. It's what I needed to hear, and it's what Op needs to hear, too. So thank you for posting it. I hope Op can appreciate what it means, someday.